Deadly storms across the South leave their mark on North Carolina as well.
And a symbolic groundbreaking means the new UNCP School of Business is on track for students in 2021. I'm Abigail Brown.
And I'm Emmy Shalua. Those stories and more coming up on Carolina News Today.
Carolina News Today is brought to you in part by Zeno's Italian Grill in Pembroke. Lunch specials every weekday, and now they deliver. Homemade pizza and calzones, gluten-free pasta available. 938 East 3rd Street, 910-775-9393. It's zenospembroke.com.
Faculty in UNCP School of Business are looking forward to their new $36 million building, which is on schedule for a 2021 opening. School officials broke ground Thursday at the site, which is between Sampson and Dial buildings, facing Prospect Road. The construction is funded in part by big donors and in part by a state bond offering. The building will feature a 300-seat auditorium and a food court in addition to usual classrooms and offices. The contractor is local firm Metcon, which was completed most of the 21st century buildings on Pembroke's campus.
Young people from all over the county were on campus Wednesday for their annual Special Olympics. More than 100 competitors came together to compete in local, regional, and state-level events. UNCP students helped the Office of Community and Civic Engagement operate activities like their own version of basketball, track and field events, and a variety of traditional schoolyard games. The event is a collaboration of UNCP, Robeson County Parks and Rec, and the public schools of Robeson County. The differently abled and special needs students had a beautiful day to earn some medals.
The campus hosted its 29th annual festival at Old Main on Saturday. Formerly called Family Day, the event was hosted by the Office of Campus Engagement and Leadership as their last big event of the school year for UNCP students, especially students with children and commuter students. Festivities took place on the quad and included food, inflatables, games, music, and more. The rain managed to hold off for the event, which also brought people from the community to campus.
The Spectrum Club hosted their first annual prom this weekend. The event was held in the UC Annex for the LGBTQ community to have a second chance at prom. Students who were unable to attend their own prom during high school were able to dress in the formal wear they identify with and take a date of their choice. Students enjoyed music, dancing, and a special performance from drag queens and kings. This event capped off their annual Pride Week.
Deadly storms left thousands without power in Wake County this week. Rain and wind late Sunday night and early Sunday morning came just hours after 8 people died in storms that hammered parts of the southern U.S. Crews were able to rescue one woman in Halifax County who was trapped after winds damaged her home. At one point, the storm knocked out power to more than 20,000 customers, but Duke Progress Energy restored most of them by Monday afternoon.
The North Carolina First Commission has been formed to research the impacts of changing trends in transportation. Plus, the Department of Transportation is encouraging girls to get interested in engineering. It's NCDOT Now.
Welcome to NCDOT Now. I'm Aaron Schoonmaker. This week, we're looking at ways how you and others can stay safe in highway work zones and what the department is doing to get girls interested in careers in engineering. Come join us. As North Carolina's demographics shift and new transportation technologies emerge, NCDOT Secretary Jim Trogdon has formed the NC Future Investment Resources for Sustainable Transportation Commission, known as the NC First Commission. The group, made up of experts in various professions, will meet over the next 18 months to research the impacts of these changes in the state's transportation investment system and recommend changes to our current investment strategy. Learn more about the commission at the website shown. With North Carolina on the cusp of change of moving new technologies to bring our state forward, it's important we introduce girls to engineering. Only 13% of the engineers in the United States are women. To help change that statistic, NCDOT has partnered with Women's Transportation Seminars Raleigh to host Introduce a Girl to Engineering Day. This week, high school-aged girls from Wake, Johnston, Rowan, and Northampton counties participated. They heard from NCDOT engineers about their daily duties, necessary job skills, and what the future of women in engineering could look like.
Today I have learned, how to overcome challenges as being a woman and being an engineer, and also just not to give up. And we may see a whole room full of men, but we have to empower ourselves and also focus on the other women around us.
Last year, there were more than 7,300 crashes and 32 deaths in work zones in North Carolina. The primary causes: speeding and distracted driving. As the busy construction season begins, the Governor's Highway Safety Program and local highway divisions held events across the state as part of Work Zone Awareness Week. The events serve to remind drivers to help do their part to keep work zones safe. When driving in a work zone, remember, don't tailgate the car in front of you. Pay close attention to signs and work zone flaggers. Obey the speed limits in and around work zones. And do not change lanes. No loss of life is acceptable, so let's all do our part. That's all for this week's edition of NCDOT Now. From all of us at the North Carolina Department of Transportation, safe travels.
Morehouse College is one of only 3 all-male colleges in the U.S. However, it will soon open admissions to transgender students. There are concerns about how that will work. For CNN News Source, Nicole Carr reports.
We are forward thinking. We all kind of thought, why not?
Morehouse College students, alumni, and educators took surveys ahead of what's now a new policy to accept transgender students, a policy voted on over the weekend that will require a yet-to-be-named committee to implement for fall 2020 admissions.
We've spent 15 months getting to this point.
I got a chance to speak with the vice president of enrollment.
We're still admitting men and we're still educating men.
He explained in order to remain enrolled at Morehouse, a student must always self-identify as a man, and this policy has nothing to do with a physical transition.
We're talking about a gender identity policy that says that if you identify, just gender identity, if you identify as a man, that you will qualify for admission to the college.
So that's technically just accepting women that are like, no, I'm a guy. So, and then there's also people that truly are, transgender.
This student said self-identification seems to be a complex concept that could make it difficult for the college to truly determine enrollment eligibility.
It is a very confusing thing all in all, which is why I'm kind of just like, whatever happens, happens. It's not like it's a really big problem for me. It's just something that the institution has to deal with.
But others say the concept is simple and self-identifying is enough.
Because if it was just going through the change, then you still discriminate and exclude a large majority.
The growing use of marijuana may be having an impact on how patients are treated at hospitals. According to a new report, people who routinely use pot may need more sedation when undergoing medical procedures.
Do cannabis users require a different approach to medical care? When it comes to sedation, the answer may be yes. That's according to a new report in the Journal of the American Osteopathic Association. When it comes to undergoing medical procedures, the study found patients who regularly use marijuana may need 2 times the level of sedation required by non-users. Researchers focused their study at one community hospital in Colorado. They found that people who reported smoking or using edibles on a daily or weekly basis required more of these 3 most common sedation drugs: 20% more midazolam, 14% more fentanyl, and 220% more propofol. That's what's needed to float into unconsciousness. It was a small study with just 25 cannabis users, so more research needs to be done. But experts say the study highlights the need to ask patients about pot use, saying it can be an effective tool for assessing medical needs and possible risks. And that's especially important with pot use increasing around the world. According to a United Nations report, marijuana use has increased 43% in the United States between 2007 and 2015.
You won't believe this story of survival that unfolded in the Gulf of Thailand. Oil rig workers rescued a dog that was found swimming alone 135 miles out to sea. After spotting the exhausted pooch, workers used a rope to lift him to safety. Workers nicknamed the dog Boonrod, which loosely translates to survivor. Boonrod was able to hitch a ride back to land on a nearby oil tanker. He's now in the care of vets in South Thailand who say he's in good spirits. What's not clear is how the little guy got so doggone far out to sea. Fans get excited about an appearance by the UNCP football team.
And Brave Track and Field shows up to break school records at Mount Olive.
Ty, the sports guy, will tell you all about it. Stay tuned.
Today. Good. I'm here to talk about how with technology you can make amazing worlds. Come with me. My team and I bring the Halo world to life.
Is that you?
That is me. I wasn't a math genius and I knew nothing about coding. But you guys do. You guys have the power to change things.
I want your job.
I want you to have my job.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul.
Observe a domesticated human family in their natural habitat, known to their species as the backyard.
Hey, you think I should light it now?
I think it's good.
Yeah?
Oh dear, someone is about to burn a pile of debris that's too tall, which can start a wildfire. Wait, could it be? Blimey, it is.
It's Smokey.
It's Smokey Bear. What a legend.
Hey, it's Smokey. Sorry, it was too high. Right.
Watch as he astutely ensures that there's no wind, and how he removes some of the debris to create a smaller, safer burning pile.
No, you said make it bigger, baby. The bigger the better.
Take note of our fearless furry friend here, humans.
I appreciate it. Fist bump.
Watching you.
Smokey's done it again.
Bye, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
What is up, Brave Nation? Welcome back to another week of Brave Sports. I'm Ty, the sports guy. We'll start with baseball, who had two matchups since we last met. The first game was Sunday against North Georgia. 5 home runs were accounted for from the Braves, along with 8 runs scored in the 6th inning. The Braves also walked away with a season high of 24 hits. Connor Granger came away with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs in the game. Braves win with a score of 18-6. Tuesday, they matched up against Barton College. It was a tight battle all the way up to the last inning when Barton bounces back and scores 3 runs to end the game, 1 run ahead of the Braves with a score of 8-7. The next game is against Flagler on their home field this weekend. Softball had a doubleheader Tuesday against Francis Marion. In Game 1, the Braves were able to score 2 runs in the first inning off RBIs from Jordan Addox and Cameron Davis. Francis Marion was held to just 1 run in the 6th inning. Final score was 2-1 Braves. In Game 2, Francis Marion stormed back by scoring 7 runs, 3 of which were home runs. Francis Marion's Jessica Harney hit 2 home runs and had a total of 4 RBIs. Braves were only able to score 1 run, leaving the final score to be 7-1 Francis Marion. After the game, Coach Brittany Bennett predicted how the team will react in games to come, knowing they're in 8th place in the Peach Belt Conference.
You know, I think if we just talk about each doubleheader and go game by game, I think we'll be just fine. So for me personally, I know that this team is just doing they're just trying to take 1 doubleheader at a time. And as long as they keep doing that, I think like I said, I think we'll be just fine.
Football is back for one spring game last Thursday. It's the annual Black and Gold Spring Football Game, and it was a fight to the end. Early in the 4th quarter, Ronnie Smith was able to connect with Eric Price in the back of the end zone. Then, later on, Aaron Whitaker received a 27-yard touchdown pass to make the score 10-9. To tie the game, Black only needed the field goal, but the attempt was blocked, which sealed the victory for the Gold Squad. Coach Shane Richardson says spring training prepares the team for the upcoming season, though it's a long way off.
There was a lot of work that was put in this spring to try to really transform the mentality, transform the culture a little bit, and be able to really go out and execute what we're trying to do. And so I really like how we did that this spring. And of course, there's a lot of work to be done in this offseason, going into summer workouts and everything. And August will be here before we know it. 7
athletes of the Braves track and field team walked away with event titles, and 10 others came away with runner-up honors at the Pickle Field Day relays over the weekend. For the women, the Braves came away with the titles in the 100-meter, high jump, pole vault, 100-meter hurdle, and finally the 400-meter hurdle. The men came away with the 110-meter hurdle and the triple jump. Assistant coach Matthew Stuck summed up who they expect to lead the team into the championships.
On the women's side, we have a really strong sprints group where we have 4 ladies that we're hoping to put in the 100 and 200-meter finals. We also have a very coached up throws group this year where they're really starting to come around and kind of hold their own, which really helps our overall cause. Then we got Skylar on the distance side where she's really putting out some really great performances, has a couple school records already, and then we also brought in Elaine Richardson in the pole vault, who also broke the school record 3 times already this year. So we do have some big improvements from last year that we're hoping to capitalize on. And then for the guys' side, we're kind of rocking the same things that we normally do, where we have a strong sprints group, strong distance group, and we're just kind of leaning on some of those older team members to really carry us along.
Thanks, Brave Nation. That's it for me this semester. Visit UNCPBraves.com to keep up with the postseason as the semester comes to a close. I'm Ty the Sports Guy. Back to the studio.
And that's it for us. We hope you'll look for the show next semester right here. I'm Abigail Brown.
And I'm Emmy Shalua. Thanks for watching.